And what's great about what we're talking about is this is one from Cisco. You can see it's older, but it doesn't matter how old it is. And I like the example because I did this before our technology was really up to par to do this stuff automatically. And so we're going to do it manually. Oops. Let's just do it far in between. So a lot of times people think like, oh, you guys are making claims that you can lower food costs and all that. And automatically, most of the world assumes that because we're lowering the cost like that, they go, oh, we're doing everything we should be doing. And so if you're lowering that, it must be because you're just buying lower quality products. And I'm telling you that, let me get my mic on. I'm telling you that most of the help that we offer people is not because we're ever going and offering lower quality. I told you about the place that was buying the $80,000 worth of crab. We switched them to a more expensive, better quality, fresh crab and still lowered their food cost 9 points. 9 points, right? And because people forget how much using the product wrong can cost you, and it costs you way more. Using the product wrong costs you way more than buying a higher quality, expensive product costs you. And in fact, a higher quality, better product is what we teach and want you to do because we want you providing great experiences for your guests. We want them to, enjoy the product at its finest. As a chef, I would do a cooking demonstration at our local farmers market. And what I would do is I would make a dish and I would use it with, I would do the dish twice, right? And so I would do a dish that would be, one time I did a ratatouille with a basil salmon thing, right? And what I did is I went and bought all my products from the grocery store for a ratatouille. And then the second one that I did, I went and bought all the products from the farmers market and did the same exact recipe with the grocery store generic tomatoes, whatever, and then the heirloom tomatoes from the farmers market. Of course, the farmers market was more expensive, whatever, but then to have people taste it side by side. The other thing I did was say, hey, here's a wild caught salmon, both salmons. Here's a whole wild caught salmon, and here's a farm raised Atlantic salmon, right? And it was scary. Like when you filleted the salmon fillets, they looked pretty similar. Yes, the wild one had a little bit deeper color, a better color. But once you filleted the fish, they looked pretty similar, not that much of a difference. But when you saw the whole fish, you would go, I don't want to eat that fish. I want to eat that fish. You knew, your mind will tell you what product you wanted and what was the better product, because the farm raised salmon had underdeveloped fins because they grow them in cages in the ocean and pollute the ocean in these cages as well because they're so highly dense, concentrated. Then they pump antibiotics into the water as well because they're eating each other's feces and in this dirty water, and so they're getting sick and they're trying to keep them healthier. So all the antibiotics get pumped into the water, and because they can't move around and swim, they never develop the fin. So they look like a little nuclear power plant salmon, right? And when you see that, you know that I don't want to eat it, right? But when you see it all filleted and prepped in the grocery store, it's like, oh, it looks the same as that fish pretty much, and it's $3 a pound cheaper, and so you go, oh, I'm going to choose that product, right? And so there is, but you could use the more expensive salmon in your restaurant and give the guests a better experience, better flavor, better overall dish, and then talk about what you're doing. So you're marketing yourself and telling your guests what you're doing. And at the same time, by having portion controls in place, having processes and procedures to execute the dish, then staying consistent with those recipe card targets that you set, you're going to save more money in your business every single time. And it seems weird because I just sort of talked about a really artistic thing, and then I was like, processes and procedures and everything you have, and really there is a system and process for everything that you do. And even if it is an artistic function, you still have to recreate that dish over and over and over again. Yes, maybe there was more creative process in the creating the dish for the first time, but now we have to execute it the same way every single time, right? And you know what people go to Applebee's? Some of you may know because you've been to the right, because they suck the same way every time. Consistency, right? You know what you expect when you're going the door there. So if we can be consistent in our restaurant with great quality, wow, we're really going to do well, right? And you're going to see lots of growth. Okay, so here is another descending case report. And I want you to see, I'm going to go up here and we're going to see that I have a case report that is September 26th through October 31st. Okay, you can see we've been doing this stuff a while. September 26th through October 31st. Okay, now the top thing, now that by case, the number one thing is these French fries, right? But you can see they spend more, 144 cases of mozzarella is a lot more money than 145 cases of French fries, right? However, it's the top one. We're going to analyze the French fries in this case. It's a more straightforward and something you can do right away.
So when you're doing these,
when
you ask our vendor for the report,
I want by dollar. By dollar. Yep.
So when you
so by dollar, this one was, and they send it in a PDF. I want it in a spreadsheet because if they send it wrong, I can resort the spreadsheet. This one was by dollar. And so you can see that there's more pounds of beef strip purchased, but more dollars of ribeye, right? This is all in order by dollar. That's the way we want it. And actually, they may have sent it to me differently. You can actually see that I resorted by dollar on this, that I put the thing here and sorted by dollar to give me that. But yeah, a lot of times they'll give it to you by case, but you really want it by dollar. You can see, yeah, I mean, the chicken wings are also down here, 116 cases, but 6,700. Looks like it would go mozzarella cheese, then chicken wings would be the order, and then French fries. But the number one case. So still looking at this, if I scroll to the bottom of this report, it doesn't tell me how many they. It's 2 pages though of a lot of stuff, right? Or more than 2 pages. So this is where you're going to concentrate your efforts and we're going to get. So if we look here, we over this time frame between September 26th and October 31st, we used 145, or we purchased 145 cases. So even if you don't have inventory, just do this just to see the comparison, right? And I remember this restaurant did not have inventory in place. So we were just looking at their purchases, right? So immediately we got a PMix report from there, and this you can see, those of you with Aloha, I think, can recognize this report. You can see that this is definitely an Aloha export of what we're seeing. And this is the direct export, and you can see that I ran the export from 9/26 to, it was run to 11/1, but they did it on the morning of 11/1. So it really goes through the 31st. Yes, I am trying. There we go. There we go. How's that? Much better? All right. So this report is the same date range of that report of what I purchased came from, right? Now, if I had an inventory adjustment, it's that much more accurate, right? Because I get true usage. If I had a whole bunch of extra fries sitting on my shelf, I'd be able to count for that too. Now, what we're seeing here is here's my items. And you can see that they have the same item that's sold at different times for different prices. It's like a happy hour pricing that's set up in their system. But essentially, these are the same items that we have there. Okay, this is just exporting from Aloha directly. What's cool about our software is it talks to a lot of POS systems. If it doesn't talk to your POS system, great. Every POS system still does this, and you can import this into the system, and it maps to all the products and everything you have. Without our software, we're just concentrating on the top 10 things, right? So here is one that I've pre-filled out. All right, I'm zoomed in a little bit. Let me go down a little bit here. So here we can see that the same French fries, right? And you can see that number sold was, 2,608 orders of French fries from this restaurant, right? Between 9/26 and 10/31. So we're looking at like 6 weeks or so, right? Maybe 5 weeks, 5 weeks. So here, their portion on French fries, which is huge because it's a side on its own, but any of these items, all of these items here, they all have 10 ounces of fries, right? And so 10 ounces times how many were sold is 15,890 ounces of fries is what ideally I should have used, right? And divided by 16 gives me 993.1 pounds of fries, right? Okay. Now I'm just going through my whole PMix. I'm just looking through my PMix. Anything that has fries on it. Oh, 10 ounces of fries here. And it's on that Bay French fry platter. 10 ounce on chili cheese fries, Bay French fries, 10 ounces, 10 ounces. Philly fries, 10 ounces. You don't even have to have your full recipe costing cards in. I'm just looking for this particular product, right? So I'm just scrolling through anything that has fries. Okay, here's all the burgers. All the burgers have 6 ounces of fries with them, right, on the side. Here's a kid's grilled cheese, gets 3 ounces of fries. Here's another kid's slice and fries, 3 ounces of fries. So we add that up, and it's 3,262.3 pounds of fries divided by 30 pounds a case gives me 108.74 cases of fries. How many did I buy? I bought 145 cases. So I go through my POS system and I find, this is real life. This is a real life example. I find that if I had apportioned all of my fries correctly, I would have used 108 cases instead of 145 cases. That's a lot. That's 38 cases of French fries. Back in 2011, they were 26. Yeah, back in 2011, they were $26 a case. Right? Are you counting? Are you putting in your calculator? Yeah. So 38 cases. $963. $1,000 a month on one product. Wow. Right? Essentially, about right. And then we can also look at it and go, well, do we really need 10 ounces of, that's another thing, do we really need 10 ounces of fries? 10 ounces of fries, for those of you that have measured out fries, 10 ounces of fries is a lot of fries, you know? So, I mean, even the 6 ounces on a burger is a lot of fries, right? You could probably be okay with 4 or 5. And that's where, you know, some of the things later, we'll talk a little bit more about that later.
So this restaurant, was it misuse of the serving, or were they giving
you know what their portion utensils were? These bad boys, right?
That's what they were when we
Right? Right?
we're like, that's
Yep.
not a measurement.
And then they're busy, right? And so they sandbag, right? We know sandbagging is, right? So I'm super busy for lunch. So what I do is I cook off as much fries as I possibly can, and then I keep using the fries, and then lunch is over and I got a full tray of giant bowl of fries left, right? So I'm not totally against sandbagging, but I kind of am, you know, too. Right. Fajita meat recently with a client in the software, and it was tough. Like there's large variances, and so the cooks are like, "All the recipe costing cards are wrong. We portion perfectly every time." Well, guess what? Then we double check that recipe costing cards are correct, and we start finding, especially when we're inspecting what we expect, we go in the middle of a shift and we see somebody using their hands to do fajitas, right? Because fajita meat was one of their top thing they spent money on in this Tex-Mex restaurant, right? So you go through here, you have an idea. You don't even need this report from your vendor. You know, it will be eye-opening, and yes, I want you to get it, but you know the top items you're using. Go portion them. Go control those items to start, and it gets us going in the right direction. And that was pretty straightforward. I mean, there wasn't yields on French fries or anything. It wasn't complicated. I just went through my PMix, identified the items that had a top item user, compared it to what I'm actually buying. You can find that the second you go back to your restaurant with these reports that you're getting from your vendors.